Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, Antonelli here.
Did Fernando Tatis Jr. steal the signs from Trevor Bauer when he hit his second home run of the game on that nasty little cutter off the plate? We're going to get into that today. I've received so many questions over the last couple of days asking my opinion on Tatis stealing signs in general. I wrote every single question down that I received, and we're going to answer them all today. Okay, first, let's just look at the play here. So the catcher puts down the signs, and you see here right towards the very end, as the sign is starting to come up and the catcher is beginning to move, you see Tatis kind of look straight down. And so a lot of people have questioned this play right here by Tatis. Is he peeking at the signs? Is he trying to see what the catcher's putting down? Is he trying to see where the catcher is moving? This is obviously a huge advantage to know what pitch is coming and where the catcher is setting up. Now here goes the pitch. It's outside. Tatis is able to extend his bat and somehow drive this pitch for a home run to left center field. So let's look into this in more detail. First off, do I think he peaked? My personal opinion is I don't believe he peaked. Now, Trevor Bauer did put up a video after the game kind of calling Tatis out for peeking at signs and for peeking at location. Now, for me, if you're going to peak, you're not going to look down that much with your head, right? That's too obvious. If I'm going to peek, well then I'm just going to turn my eyes back and look. I'm not going to turn my whole head this way. I'm not going to put my head down here. I'm just going to kind of peek my eyes back this way to see if I can see a sign or some catcher's movement. Now, let me preface it with this as well. I never stole signs. I never in my life, in all my at-bats, ever looked back to see a sign from a catcher. But if I was going to do it, I know not to move my head a lot because that's calling attention to it. Now, I don't believe I've ever seen Tatis do this. I've never seen that drastic head movement before. So I'm not saying he hasn't peaked or he isn't peaking. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't think he's peaking here. Now, the other thing is the sign is already down, right? So you see the sign go down by the catcher. And then as he's pulling his hand away, that's when you kind of see Tatis looking down. So I don't believe he saw a sign, even if he was looking for one. Now again, maybe he saw the catcher's movements. You see the catcher start to shift outside a little bit. And so could he have seen that? Yes, possibly he could have. Now catchers will oftentimes try to disguise their movement. And so they'll do a couple things. One, they'll try to set up late. And so Will Smith doesn't set up late here. He kind of starts to shift over pretty quickly. And so that's one way to defend from people stealing your signs is you'll set up late. So you'll give the sign, you'll kind of sit there. And then as the pitcher starts to get into his windup and lift his foot, you'll start to slide out to wherever you're going. Because I know as a coach, when I'm coaching third base, there's been plenty of times that I steal the catcher's signs from third base. And I'll steal it based on the catcher's movement. And so catchers fall into a rhythm and a tendency to move the same way on certain pitches. So if they're going to call a fastball out, they'll step with their right foot first, right? So you'll see them step with their right foot, then their left foot, and they'll catch. If they're calling for a fastball into a righty, they'll step with their left foot first, then they'll step with their right foot, and they'll catch the ball in. A lot of catchers, if they're going to set up for a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch, they'll split their feet. So they won't step, they'll just split their feet. And so if you watch catchers, you start to learn how they like to move for certain pitches. And I've plenty of times in my career relayed that in. So I see a catcher split his feet and set up. There's a lot of different ways that we can do it, but I'll relay in to the hitter to let him know what pitch is coming. Now that is not against the rules. There's no rules that say that no one can watch the catcher set up, see how he sets up, and then relay the pitch call into the hitter. Now with most unwritten rules, the defense against this is somebody could get hit. So if they find out that you're stealing signs, you're technically not breaking any rules, so they can't really tell anybody on you. They can't call you to the principal's office, but they can just start throwing at guys, and that's kind of the way to police the game and stop it from happening. So let's get back to the hitter again. Does peeking happen? Yes, I've seen it happen before in my career. I've seen hitters try to look back and see the catcher's signs. I've seen catchers yell at hitters to stop it. Because again, it isn't illegal. There's nothing in the rule book that says says a hitter cannot look back and look at the catcher's signs. But it is an unwritten rule. You do not look back at the catcher's signs. And I've seen it plenty of times where a catcher will let the hitter know, hey man, I see you peeking. Get your fucking eyes out of here. Watch the pitcher, or you're going to get one in the ribs. And I've seen it plenty of times from the bench. Players on the bench or a coach or a manager yelling at a hitter. They see a hitter kind of turning their head like this and they'll say, hey, get your fucking eyes off the catcher. So again, it has happened. Hitters usually, the few hitters that do it will try to subtly peek with their eyes. And again, they're looking for either pitch, what pitch it is. They're looking for a little bit of catcher's movement. Also, another way that I've seen hitters try to steal signs is with shadows. And so sometimes, depending on where the sun is setting, if it's a day game, you can look down and you can see the shadow of the catcher. And so you can't see numbers, but you can see the way that that catcher is moving. So the hitter will kind of peek down, look at the shadow. They'll see the shadow kind of shift one way or another, and they know if the pitcher's coming in or away. Now, a lot of people were yelling and screaming, hey, this ain't the hitter's fault. This is the catcher's fault. Hide your signs better. So first off, the catcher, if you watch the catcher will usually peek up to the hitter before they give the sign. And they're just kind of looking for a couple of things. One, they are looking to see, hey, is this guy peeking at me? They also look up to see kind of where the hitter is lined up. Where is he set up in the batter's box? And so catchers are always kind of looking at the hitter to determine, one, what pitch am I going to throw? Did the guy slide off the plate a little bit? Did he start to crowd the plate? That may change the pitch selection. But then again, also just making sure that his eyes aren't down here looking at my signs. Now, disguising the signs. Again, lots of people saying, hey, give more than one sign. Here's the thing. If we go back to the Astros, when everyone got really paranoid that the Astros were stealing signs using cameras, does everyone remember those days when the catcher had to give 52 signs when there was nobody on base? And every time a new hitter came up, they called time, they ran out, they had to switch the sequencing of the signs, and we're going to go first sign or third sign or second sign or sign after two. And the game was just taking forever because there was timeout called 52 times, and the guy had to give so many signs, and then we're off. What was the sign sequence again? Okay, timeout, right? Like when there's a man on second, yes, that's part of the game. But I don't think we want to get to the point where we have to give all these signs and call time all the time when there's nobody on base because this guy's staring back at me. I don't think anybody wants that. So I'm not going to say that it's on the catcher to hide the signs and to give 52 signs when there's nobody on base. Now, some other people were saying, hey, put your glove there. That's what your glove is for. When there's a guy in the box, I can't cover the signs with my glove. So if you watch a catcher, they put their glove on their left knee. That is to cover the sign from the third base coach. Their right knee covers the sign from the first base coach. The glove is not there to cover the sign from the hitter. If I wanted to cover the sign from the hitter, I'd have to put my glove like this. Putting it on my knee is not going to do it. The hitter's over here. He can look back and see my signs. And so I can't do this because now the pitcher can't see the sign. So I technically can't cover the signs for him. The only thing I could do is give multiple signs. And we already talked about why I don't think we want to do that. And again, because there's no rule that says that a hitter can't do this, the hitter could literally just stop the game. What if the hitter did this? He gets into the box and he just does this. And he just stares at the catcher. Go ahead, give your signs. Go ahead. First off, the catcher's not going to give the signs. But what if you did that, right? For everyone saying, hey, change the signs up. Does anyone want the game to be like this? Yep. Okay, go ahead. 2, 4, 6, 7, 4, 2, 8, 7, 4, 8, 9, 6, 4, knee tap, head. Okay. All right, here we go. Like, nobody wants that. And that's why it's part of the unwritten rules. Now, I don't know how you would enforce a written rule if you said, hey, no looking back. But again, this is one of the ways people get upset about unwritten rules. This is one of the ways the game polices itself. If you see if a hitter went up there and went like this, the catcher, the manager, the bench, the pitcher, everybody would say, you're going to get drilled if you look like that again. And that keeps people from doing it. And if you want to do it, okay, we'll hit him. And then if he's a middle infielder, we'll slide and we'll try to take him out. Like, that's the way the game kind of polices itself. Again, in other sports, like in hockey, when you do something you're not supposed to do, you know what happens? The guy says, I'm going to drop my gloves and I'm going to beat the ever-living hell out of you. In basketball, you throw an elbow into somebody's face. In football, you try to knock the guy unconscious. That might sound very mean, but when people break unwritten rules in other sports, that's how they handle it. In baseball, there's not a whole lot of other ways to handle it. The way is I throw this 98-mile-an-hour fastball directly into your ribs and I try to crack a rib. It sounds mean, but that's the way you stop people from wanting to do that. So hopefully that all makes sense. Again, I haven't seen Tatis do this. It's not like I watch every single at bat, and sometimes the way the camera is, they don't even show the hitter until the sign's already gone and done with. But I've never really seen Tatis do that move before. If you have, shoot me the video over. So I'm going to say, I don't know, he had a sneeze, he had an itch, or he just happened to look down at something. I don't think he was purposely trying to steal the pitches or the location. Again, he may have, I didn't ask him, but that's just my opinion. So that's all we have. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about all this stuff. I've gotten a lot of comments already, but I'd like to hear from you. We'll talk to you later. If you've enjoyed this video and want to learn more about building the elite swing, check out our new course. We have over 2 hours of content, almost 30 hitting drills. We break down the exact mechanics that you're going to want to implement into your swing. I've put the link in the description if you want to go check it out.